Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to this explainer on the absolute foundations of PICS-SAN and good manufacturing practice, or GMP compliance. Since we've already knocked out the course introduction, we're going to jump right into the bedrock of what PICS actually is, why the PE009 guide is such a big deal, and how these global rules literally protect patients' lives every single day. So, here's a quick mental map of what we're covering today. 1. Why harmonization matters. 2. Inside the PE009 guide. 3. Protecting the patient. 4. Culture versus checklists. And 5. Common GMP misconceptions. Let's get right to it. Section 1. Why harmonization matters, solving the 1970s chaos. Now, what's really interesting about this number is 57. Today, there are 57 participating authorities globally, all working together under PICS/S. But picture this. Back in the 1970s, the exact same manufacturing site might have to endure a dozen overlapping, completely contradictory inspections by different national authorities. I mean, it was a total bureaucratic nightmare. This caused massive trade friction, huge redundant costs, and honestly, worst of all, real patient risk, because what passed the safety bar in one country could totally fail in another. So, this massive unified footprint of 57 authorities, that's our modern solution to that historical chaos. Tracing exactly how we got here starts back in 1970. The original Pharmaceutical Inspection Convention, or PIC, was founded by just a small group of European Free Trade Association states. It was a formal legal treaty, but its rigid structure made it really tough to admit new members. So in 1995, PICS/S was created as a flexible, informal cooperative scheme. Fast forward to today, and that flexible scheme now unites those 57 global authorities across every populated continent with one single mission: to internationally harmonize GMP standards. Now, we need to clarify exactly what PICS does and doesn't do. It harmonizes a single GMP guide, that's the PE009. It trains inspectors so they all interpret that guide consistently, and it builds mutual reliance, so authorities can actually trust each other's work. It also continuously updates this guidance to keep pace with new science and tech. But please note that crucial point right there at the bottom. PICS is not a licensing body. It doesn't grant manufacturing authorizations, and there is absolutely no such thing as a PICS certificate that a company can just buy. It's purely a cooperative network of national regulators. Section 2. Inside the PE009 guide, the blueprint of quality. The PE009 guide can definitely seem like an intimidating document at first glance, but it actually breaks down into 3 highly digestible chunks. Part I covers the basic requirements for finished medicinal products, spread across 9 chapters. Part 2 covers the requirements for active pharmaceutical ingredients, or APIs. And finally, the annexes layer on highly specialized expectations. Think Annex 1 for sterile products or Annex 11 for computerized systems. So it's actually very logical to navigate once you see how it's built. Zooming in on Part 1, notice how it logically builds outward. Chapters 1 through 6, those establish your foundations. They start with the overarching quality system, move to the personnel, the premises, the documentation, and then flow right into production and quality control. Once that core is built, Chapters 7 through 9 extend that control outward. They cover outsourced activities, how you handle complaints and recalls from the market, and then they loop right back onto the manufacturer through self-inspection. When reading this guide, pay incredibly close attention to the specific language being used. When the guide says you should do something, that signals a strict expectation. Inspectors are going to assess whether you met the intent of that should. While alternative approaches are technically possible, they require a solid, documented rationale and a rigorous risk assessment. Basically, you can't just treat should as a gentle suggestion.
Section 3. Protecting the patient. Why quality equals safety.
Look at this foundational quote. Quality must be built in, not tested in. Think about it. A patient sitting at home can't test a tablet for invisible defects like sterility failures or the wrong potency. They have to completely, blindly trust the system that made it. You cannot simply test your way to a safe product at the very end of the line because testing only confirms what the process has already achieved. Safety absolutely has to be designed into every single step. And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when we forget that principle. If a GMP control weakens, say, a cleaning step is skipped or a deviation is brushed aside, a defect enters the batch. Because quality wasn't built in, the batch gets released, the patient is exposed, and harm and a recall inevitably follow. Trace any serious historical GMP failure, and you will find this exact tragic chain of cause and effect.
Grounding this in a real-world case study really makes it clear. A manufacturer produced a high-potency hormonal product and a common oral tablet using shared equipment. Their cleaning validation was weak, and changeover checks were informal. Traces of the potent hormone carried over into the everyday tablet. The defect was entirely invisible, the tablets looked exactly the same, and the contaminated batch went straight to market. This warning proves that just because equipment looks clean absolutely does not mean it is clean. You need solid evidence. Section 4. Culture versus checklists. Behavior beats paperwork.
I want you to starkly pit these two mindsets against each other and ask yourself which one best represents your daily behavior. A compliance culture understands why a control exists. Staff record events honestly as they happen, and they openly raise near misses. On the flip side, a checklist mentality just signs the box to get it done, completes records from memory hours later, and hides problems just to avoid the blame. A healthy culture can erode quickly if you aren't paying attention. You've got to call out these dangerous environmental factors if you see them. When get the batch out consistently overrides get it right, that production pressure pushes staff straight toward a checklist mentality. If raising a problem gets you blamed, well, problems get hidden. When workarounds become normalized and when leadership is silent on quality, the culture degrades fast.
Section 5. Common GMP misconceptions. Fact versus fiction.
So, the crucial point is we need to definitively crush this idea right now. Myth. GMP is QA's job. Fact. GMP is built by everyone who touches the product, process, or record. Quality assurance absolutely provides oversight and verification, but they cannot magically manufacture compliance on the floor by themselves. Every single operator, technician, and engineer builds the quality. Here is another massive misconception we need to reframe. Myth. Deviations look bad. Fact. 0 deviations often means people are hiding problems. An honestly reported deviation isn't a failure to be ashamed of. It is actual proof that your safety system is working properly. It means you are catching issues when they are still safe and cheap to fix long before they ever reach a patient. So, how do we practically apply PE009 to a site? You run a gap analysis. First, you scope the relevant chapters and map those requirements directly to your site's SOPs. Then, you find the gaps. Crucially, you must always prioritize fixing gaps based on patient safety and data integrity risks first. Once those highest risks are secured, you remediate, update your procedures, and train your teams. Ultimately, bringing this right back to your personal accountability, the entire regulatory framework of PICS, the guide, and all the harmonized standards in the world all come down to this single reality. Your signature is a personal attestation that the step was done correctly. The entire system relies on your honesty every single time you sign a record. I want to leave you with this final provocative thought to take back to the floor. When you sign off on a process today, what does your signature truly mean for the patient waiting at the end of the line? Remember, your paperwork is actually a shield protecting human lives. Thank you for joining me on this explainer. Keep learning and keep building that quality in.